What 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 up, YouTube? It's Kyle. In this video, I want to talk about basically two types of women, um, and how you should kind of behave when you first get to know a woman or approach. So I believe there's attention-oriented women, and then there's relationship-oriented women. The attention-oriented ones are mostly just like what it says, like they're looking for attention and validation, and I don't think that this is something that people are born with. I think it's just a product of maybe not having good parenting, or just getting lost trying to get likes on social media or something like that. But I feel like a lot of women just end up straight up attention oriented. Like they don't really care about relationships, or maybe they do, but their actions don't show it. And then there's a second type of woman who is the more relationship oriented. This is the one that is looking for compatibility. They're looking for connection, compatibility, and relationships, like boyfriend girlfriend relationships. And it sucks that it is the way it is, but a lot of women, it seems like they don't really even, modern women don't even really try to find out if you're compatible with them, because they just don't care. I think they just generally, a lot of them just simply want your attention, and that's it. Like, drop in the comments, like, if you've ever said, texted or DM'd a woman on Instagram, or commented on her photos saying you're so pretty, this and that and that. How many times did one actually message you back and try to get to know you? Most of the time, maybe at most, they heart your message, or they heart your comment saying that she's pretty, or I don't know. But most of the time is not like oh, you think I'm pretty, oh, now let me try to get to know you. It's almost never that way, because a lot of the time those women are just simply just want attention. They don't care to get to know you. And I'm telling you that even as like a handsome man, like, of course there's women who are interested in getting to know me, the more relationship oriented ones, but attention oriented, they're not going to sit there and try to figure you out. I feel like that's like a big sign of like someone who is attention oriented, is like they don't try to figure you out. They don't even ask you questions, because the compatibility doesn't matter to them. Of course, I think that women are a little less visual, so they don't become attracted right away. So there might be a certain extent to where you have to just talk to them, and so that they can get to know you before they're attracted. But generally, I believe a healthy woman will filter men out by saying, okay, could this guy be a future husband, or could he not be? If they're not asking that question, if that isn't their main way of filtering, they're probably attention oriented. So anyways, when you do approach a woman, I've kind of come with like the approach of like what I call no validation left behind. This is basically where like I try to make it my best to where a woman, if she tries to dip out and just run with my validation and not give me any attention, I try to make it to where there's barely any validation that she can leave with, because I'm not looking to validate someone and then have them ghost me. You know what I'm saying? So basically what I do is I just try to just keep it friendly. Maybe I'll talk with like maybe a little bit slower and with kind of deeper voice, and be a little bit more chill, like, so I kind of look stronger. And then maybe I'll put on my more masculine type of frame and way of being. But I don't approach women and say, oh, you're so pretty, you're so that. I give it a little test. If I'm in the coffee shop, hey, what are you reading there, or something like that, I don't go you're pretty, you're this, you're that. I don't seem like do like the that type of thing. Like, because I don't want them leaving with my validation. So what you want to do is you want to get to know them a little bit longer and find out, hello guys, and find out, like, is this person more relationship oriented or are they attention oriented? So then if they try to dip out on you and just leave with your validation, there's barely anything that they can leave with. Like, because you're not going to go ahead and like all their Instagram posts. You're not going to say, oh, you're so pretty. Or even in the way that you carry yourself, you're always going to carry yourself like you are whole without them, at least to a certain extent. Like, you don't necessarily need them, because you don't even want them reading that on you, because that's validation to them, you know. And it's like, as a man, like that is not that's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to make women feel happy so that they can not even care about getting to know us. Like, there's some people who disagree. They'll say that they want to be completely vulnerable and just say, oh, you're so pretty right off the bat. But like, you want to wait to see if a woman can even appreciate that type of attention, you know, because, and you'll know, you'll see it, okay, is she a good woman, blah blah blah. But other than that, I would say just be strong. You know, you can talk with a deeper voice, say, hey, how's it going, hey, what's up, you know, that type of thing, and just maintain strong until you see who she is. So that's why, you know, even when you ask a woman out, I don't even recommend using the word date. Like, you can if she seems like a good woman, but if she doesn't, I wouldn't even use the word date. I would just say, hey, do you want to grab a drink or like some food? I'm in your area, you know, tomorrow or whatever. Because even if you use the word date, they can be like, oh, you know, he asked me out on a date, I got my validation, now it's time to just leave, you know. So I don't know, drop a comment if you think that that's petty. I mean, I don't necessarily think it's petty. Like, I wish that we were in the olden days where you could tell a woman that she's pretty, and, you know, it wasn't just about validation. I feel like that's how it must have been back in the 50s or something like that. There was an extent to where she would look at you in only two categories. Is this guy a future husband or is he not? You know? And yeah, and then of course, you know, you might think that a woman is attention oriented, but really she just saw something in you that she's not super interested in. And I guess that's a different thing. And you got to be careful about that. But yeah, don't be following Instagram models and things like that. It's just dumb. Especially, do not be subscribing to OnlyFans. I don't think that's popular for people to do that, but I don't know. Could be. Cheese and prosciutto. But yeah, no validation left behind. And there are those good women out there. I meet them every now and again, but they're a little bit more rare. Alright, peace out. Then on the other hand, you know, maybe there's those women that only feel attracted to men who don't validate them. So then it's like it could go either way, and that's a problem in itself, where you don't validate them and then they like you because of that. So that's a whole nother thing, and this is why I think, you know, negging comes into play. Like, a lot of people will say like negging is abusive or whatever, like when you give someone a compliment but also slightly put them down at the same time. But I don't necessarily think so. I think that, you know, a lot of modern women, their father was not strict, you know, in these times, because I think many fathers are afraid of getting canceled. They're afraid to be strict to their daughters because of, they don't want to be seen as their strictness being abusive or something like that. So they basically don't break the woman's frame. They don't break down, and they don't really break down their daughter's ego to the point of, you know, not in a bad way, but humbling them. So, you know, I think many women are not relationship oriented because they allowed their ego to get so high that it just becomes about people validating them. So yeah, I don't believe that negging is, what is it, abusive. You know, I don't think that saying something like, oh, I like your hair, but maybe they could have cut it a little bit more like that, you know, or something along the lines of, you know, even for example, talking to the woman a few times and then walking past her on the third time and not even looking at her. I don't necessarily think that stuff is abusive or manipulative. I think that in this day and age, it's almost necessary. Then on the other hand, there's so many other things that are getting in the way. For example, I believe that many women who go to these very liberal colleges receive very liberal instruction. You know, they're taught so much content about having to be independent from men and that men are bad and this and that in that way. And I feel like at the very least it cancels out a lot of their desire to even have a man, you know, or to even open up to a man. So even in that sense, it's like it's harder, because if they don't turn to an absolute man hater, you know, after being liberally educated, at the very least I feel like a lot of their attraction to men is dimmed, or their openness to men is dimmed down, and they're not comfortable about the idea of physically talking to a man. So it's safer for them to just get a bunch of validation on Instagram and just be attention oriented. So it's a tougher world, and you know, it's tough because, like I'm saying, you know, even like as a more handsome man, not trying to brag, like there's lots of times where I talk to a woman and it doesn't even seem like she's trying to get to know me, because she doesn't care about compatibility. At least that's the way I see it. If somebody sees it differently, that's what it is. But that's what I'm about. I'm about looking for a woman who cares about compatibility and connection, not just validation, not just wanting my validation. I want them to want me as a partner, you know, as an actual connection. But if you found that in your life, man, drop a comment. That would be awesome. All right, peace out. You got women the modern women that are so confused that, I heard this from actually another YouTuber, but I already knew it myself. I can't remember her name, Kira something. Maybe I'll shout her out again on another video, but when I get her name. But she said the modern women expects validation but doesn't respect validation. And that's like the part that just doesn't make any sense. Like, if those two are not together, like any woman that expects validation, meaning she puts in a ton of effort to look pretty, wants men to compliment her, but then when the man does, she doesn't respect it. It's like a mental illness, you know, any woman that thinks like that. But sadly, it seems that there's many women that are like that. And I feel like that's actually one of, you know, the modern man's biggest challenges, is that we're dealing with women that expect validation. They want you to think that they are pretty. They want you to like their photo. They want you to DM them. They want you to drop a comment. But when you do, they don't respect it. It's like they don't care. And it's a weird thing. Like, how does the modern man overcome that? It's one question that I want to come up with. I think that, you know, like I'm saying, not overreacting and calling a woman pretty, I think is a good start. But yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't know if it's that some women are just okay without a man. I don't know what it is. And sometimes it's really odd, because I'll see some of these women who seem to be very about Instagram oriented and posting all these pretty photos, and then I'll see them get a boyfriend and they continue to post all these photos. It's total sexy pic, ass pic, this and that. And it makes me think, okay, well, how did this guy even get this girl? Because she seems so about validation. And the second part is, why does she continue to search for the validation so heavily even after getting a boyfriend? I don't know, it's a really weird thing, and I want to figure that out. But for now, you know, just keep trying, and we'll find somebody for us. And it's not to say that I don't go on dates, you know, I do. And I think that a lot of the advice here that I'm giving, I believe in it. I believe in, you know, the advice that I'm giving, and I'm at least confident, you know, the journey that I'm on. And I'm having some successes, but obviously haven't found a wife. And yeah, I'm happy that you guys are on this journey with me. Just want to keep releasing content. And yeah, I think that it should actually be like an official mental illness should be written out in like the DSM-5 regarding like women that have a separation between expecting validation and respecting validation, because I think it's like an actual mental illness, really, like, because there's virtually 0 point to it. There's virtually 0 usage to expecting validation but not respecting it. It's like it's an actual mental illness, in my opinion. But I don't know. I think drop in the comments, should there actually be, you know, real mental illnesses written out regarding various social media like mindsets that people have? Alright, catch you on the next one. Peace. I've actually seen those videos. Have you guys ever seen them where a guy will go up to a woman and say that she's pretty, and she'll actually get mad, you know, like start actually copying an attitude after he complimented her? And I'm like it's obvious that that's part of the validation. Like, oh, I'm so good that you can compliment me, and then I can trash on you as a second way to make myself feel that I'm better than you. You know, it's like a double whammy. And it's like, if you want to be famous and have all this validation, being a celebrity is the opposite, you know? If they're trying to get validation like as if they're a celebrity, celebrities get complimented like every 1 minute, or like every minute someone's gonna come up and talk to them. So it's like, it's funny that they try to carry themselves like they're the absolute shit, but they can't even handle someone coming up and complimenting them once a day. It's like, if you were actually famous, think about if they were to talk down to their fans every 30 seconds when someone comes up and compliments them and says that they're pretty. They wouldn't last. Their reputation would be destroyed for trashing on fans, people that come up and compliment them. But yeah, it just don't even make no sense. But alright.